Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Good to see you. Paul Tranny here with the one and only Kirsten Wolfert.
Hi.
Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Very first time here, yes.
First time, yep.
From Pinterest. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm super excited, but I also just downed one coffee. So
you're extra caffeinated this morning.
Our very first guest in our new studio, by the way. So we're still building it out. We're a couple blocks away. We're here in beautiful San Francisco where it's lovely and sunny out these beautiful windows in the new studio. We can just see the Golden Gate Bridge. It's gorgeous. And we would love to hear from you and give you a warm welcome. So thank you so much for everybody saying hello. We see Valder's here. Siri, Lauren, good to have you here. And this week's all about editorial design.
I'm excited.
So this will be fun. So what apps are you going to be using?
I'm going to be using mostly InDesign today.
Mostly InDesign.
Yeah, and
cool.
for the next 3 days.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So InDesign, maybe jump into Illustrator or Photoshop,
yeah,
right?
A little bit of Illustrator. Yep.
Okay, a little bit of Illustrator, which I've heard people who use InDesign, they just call other apps like plugins for InDesign. Like, yeah, I'm gonna jump out. Yeah, I'm gonna drop that image in there. So that's perfect. Jan Eric's in the house. Good to have you. Fantastic.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yes.
So exciting.
This is exciting, yeah?
I know. I'm really excited.
So anyways, and I'd say the best, so you work for Pinterest.
I do.
Yes.
I'm a designer for Pinterest. I've been there for a year, and I'm on the partner marketing team, which basically means I get to work with a ton of different brands, designing different things for them, and helping them advertise on Pinterest.
That sounds almost sounds like a dream job.
It is, actually.
And your office is, well, right now we're a little further away, but literally like a block away it feels. Like so close to Adobe. And every time I walk by that office, it's cool. You'd want to take...
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, you'd see everything cool from Pinterest like in the lobby area as I look through the windows.
It's a very inspirational space, that's for sure.
Super jealous. Who's
Text
jealous?
me next time you're there and we can get lunch.
Oh, yes. Sounds fantastic. I'm jealous. And if it's your first time, say hello. We'd love to hear from you and give you a warm welcome. We have F. Semitic from Texas. Always love seeing little avatars. Monica's here. And by the way, I just kind of wanted to point out your website, if I could, really fast. This might be a good place just to kind of get started. Kirsten Wolfert Design, and we can always post that to chat, but here's some of your work just to get inspired, and for the most part, except for this one. What happened here with the spacing?
We'll click on it and we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Okay, good.
So this was a proposed redesign for Park City Institute, which is a nonprofit organization which brings different art programs to Park City, Utah. And so one common theme in all the arts that they bring to Utah are breaks in spaces. So there's breaks in music, breaks in poetry. So I brought that into the logo.
Love it.
There's our pamphlet.
Love it.
A t-shirt.
I love it. I totally want to steal this idea and use it where it's not appropriate. I'm just like, Kirsten did it, so it must be cool. That's what I would do, but it looks so good.
It's a fun logo. It looks good big and small, which I love.
Yeah, really stands out. Looks great on sort of any swag.
Absolutely, and that's important.
Yeah.
Swag's important.
Yeah, swag is important. Being able to register and still read it as Park City Institute?
Yep.
Am I doing all right? Okay,
That's
good. Well, that's cool. So check out her work. I did see somebody's first time. Let us also know where you're from. Maybe I need to use my quiet inside voice because it could be the evening for you if you're like in Indonesia or someplace.
We're just waking up. It's the morning for us.
Yeah, it is. just waking up. Just had some coffee.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So, by the way, we do have an awesome schedule. We not only have you for an hour and a half, but we have other awesome designers as well. All editorial design. Kirsten's with us for the first 90 minutes. Then we have next up Xavier Carrera. They're using InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, sort of all those apps you know and love. Julia Masalka as well will be with myself and Ashton Dewey later today. So all day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time, hang out with us, and that would be awesome. So we also have the daily submissions. So for the first 2 days, we have daily challenges. Day one, of course, today, designing a holiday card, right?
I'm excited about that one.
So appropriate. We'll
Yeah,
review
so
those.
appropriate.
We only have an hour. Then we have a design something for day two, and then portfolio reviews on the third day, which is get involved in the daily challenges, or maybe roll those into your portfolio. We love to see that. And then we have the opportunity to have you review them and break hearts.
Awesome.
Just crushing
heartbreak.
spirits.
No,
just
none
like
of that.
driving people away from the industry. No, don't do that. Yeah, I know you're not going to. Well, fantastic. And speaking of projects, what do you got going on here? What's the plan for the next couple days?
I'd love to chat about it.
Let's do
I
it.
am going to be working on a city guide for Palm Springs. I've actually never been there, but I've always been wanting to go. And people have been sending me tons of lists of places to stay and restaurants to eat at. And so I'm finally compiling it all into one book. And eventually I'd love to build this out to include more cities and have it be a whole set of books.
Okay.
So I'd love to show you.
Palm Springs City Guide.
Yep. So before I start any project, I always do a mood board on Pinterest. And this really helps me get a direction for the project, understand what colors I want to be using, what sort of typography. And I think what I'm attracted to most on this is all the warm, beautiful colors.
So I have a question to ask. So you work for Pinterest.
I do.
And you're starting out with a Pinterest board.
Yep.
For this project. So that's kind of how you do your brainstorming and putting together mood boards, essentially.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
and I know you work for Pinterest, but did you use it like before?
I did, yep.
Okay.
I used Pinterest in college, and I used Pinterest at all my past jobs, and still use it for freelance work or works or projects for work. So it's definitely all encompassing. And I also love to cook, so I also pin a lot of recipes too.
Fantastic. And we could probably find this pin out on Pinterest, right? The Palm Springs one?
Yeah.
We could take a look at it.
We totally
take
could.
a little
Yep.
look.
It's on my
Let's
Pinterest
see.
board. It's the first board that I have listed. And so I've just pinned some beautiful layouts that I was really feeling, like this typography overlaid with the image I loved. The soft pinks I thought were beautiful. This typography I thought was amazing, and the O's overlapping.
Yes.
And then of course, pink doors, because that's all I hear about Palm Springs are the door tours.
Yeah, and this is a case where, again, you've never been there. You'd love to have these be your own photos. Like if you can, do something like that for a client, go out, take the photos, collect all the materials you can. You kind of have to do that remotely. And I just love it. And even looking at this, I'm kind of sensing an overall like color scheme.
Oh yeah, well it's Palm Springs. It's so colorful, so it will definitely be a fun book to create.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I've, never been there, but I'm learning a lot.
Well, now we'll have to go. Hopefully this will inspire you, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Especially this time of year where it's
I know,
kind of
it's so
cloudy
cold
out and
here.
Cold.
Absolutely. So I'd made a little outline.
This is interesting. Lauren says when she was in college, she thought using Pinterest was forbidden.
Oh.
I mean, don't be stealing ideas.
Yeah,
It's
of
wrong.
course. But to use it as a mood board is a great idea.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you create something and you post it to Instagram, like tag your inspiration, because chances are it came from somewhere. If you may not be aware of it, but like let others know, or when you post it to Pinterest,
Absolutely,
tag,
and that's
tag that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Pinterest isn't just for teen. I think Pinterest. I've run into a lot of designers that use it the same way you do.
It's a great way to organize thoughts. Yeah, I have a bunch of other things on my Pinterest board too. I have type inspiration, number inspiration, logos, posters. I use it for everything.
I'm into yours specifically. I posted the one to Palm Springs, by the way, so people can kind of take a look at all that.
Oh, perfect.
But you remember, and actually we all kind of use bookmarks, but remember when bookmarks were like a big deal?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
organizing all of them? And I see you have some at the top there, but it's just
do.
not the thing it was. It's more like this concept of, seeing everything sort of visually design related in sort of one view is nice.
I love having it all in one place too.
Yes.
Organized.
Oh, yeah, and it doesn't matter. You're gonna, it travels with you sort of thing. Do it on your phone and all that fun stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I do that more often than I'd like to admit on my commute home.
Oh, yeah. By the way, she's not driving.
No.
She's not driving.
I take the train.
She's taking the train.
Thanks for clarifying that.
You know how you're doing that.
Don't text and drive.
Don't text and drive. That's a big message for the week. So here you have a little outline.
I
Okay.
do, yeah. I thought I'd outline what I'm going to be working on for the next 3 days. So today I'm going to set up my InDesign file, define my margins, grids, dimensions, columns, and then get a rough idea for pacing of the book. And then I will test out some font styles, choose the color palette, and then maybe if we have time, start my table of contents, which will hopefully set the theme and the ideas for the rest of the city guide.
Yeah, into
That's
it.
the plan.
So you choose a color palette, and then you start with the table of contents.
And hopefully that will be a good indicator for how the rest of the book will feel.
Okay, sweet, that works.
Yeah.
I think this is fascinating because I'm always curious as to wherever anybody's at, Kathleen, Falana, if you were to make a city guide for your city, what would be on the cover, which is kind of interesting.
Well, hopefully I'll do Palm Springs right.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been.
Yeah, into it.
Chat will have to help me out, whoever has been to Palm Springs.
Yeah, but that's something to talk about today as well. But yeah, let's.
Awesome. Should I get started?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
InDesign.
Yeah, opening InDesign. I'm gonna switch it to inches. And then one thing when I was thinking about the city guide is that I really want it to be a unique size and I want it to look good as a bundle because I'd love, like I said earlier, to create more city guides for different cities. And so I am gonna do 8 inches by 8 inches. I'm gonna do square, hoping to do a different layout. I think that this will make it a really interesting book and have it be something that people will wanna pick up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just start with 24 pages and then hopefully that will get me where I need to go, but if not, I'll just add more. And then I'm actually gonna start with 8 columns today.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's everything.
And unlike Photoshop, there is no DBI or anything like that. Even though you've added all these properties, you could easily change it later. So it's not a big deal. You can design all you want, even if the size of the booklet changes. It's pretty easy to do. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen the new adjust layout.
No, I haven't.
I can't wait. So we have new features to show you, which are fantastic.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, it's so cool. If you decided this needed to be more of a horizontal,
Yep.
11 by 8.5 or something, it will automatically adjust all your content.
Oh,
so if
that's
you have
amazing.
something stuck to the right edge, it'll stick it to the right, and and it gets you about, depending on how complex your design is, it'll get you at least 80% there,
Oh, wow.
at a minimum. And then of course you tweak it.
That would have saved me so much more time in the past.
Especially if you're talking 24 pages.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine they change the format.
I know.
You're freaking.
Which happens more often than I'd like to admit.
Right? And then you put on your headphones. You're
Exactly.
I guess I'm working on this for the next day. Right?
Exactly. That's when you open up that Spotify account we were talking about
Yeah.
with all of your 2018 music.
Exactly.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I think so. Today I'm gonna skip the cover. I might do that on end of day 2 or day 3. Do that last, but I just really want to start getting a feel for the sort of images I have and start deciding what I want to lay in there.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, these are some
Each
super
one you
colorful.
select. I'm like, that one. No, take
I
that
know.
one. Take that one.
I know. They're pretty
So
amazing.
nice.
Palm Springs is just so colorful. Actually, I'm gonna do.
Hello, Siobhan. Good to have you here. Good morning or good afternoon. Cheers.
Gonna start dropping in some images.
So drag and drop, just so people know, did you create a frame for that first?
I did, yep. And I'm using the frame fitting tool, which I love.
Yes, and there's so many things. I'm getting all excited. But your new properties panel, that's brand new.
I know.
That's 2019. I love it, especially if you're talking fitting things to the frame. Just everything in that properties panel I'm into, because I like dealing with icons. If we're talking alignment, don't tell me upper right, it shows me all those icons. So I think this is the best time to get started in InDesign,
I agree.
personally.
My workflow is definitely improved
Yeah.
with this new 2019 release.
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna move this image down because I don't like that swimmer's arm right there. So I'm gonna crop him out a little bit. I always think about the image and what's touching the sides and what I want to include or not include. Let's see what other images I have. Oh, I love this one. The hard shadow is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna add in a few more.
You do your thing. And to answer your question, yes, Shauna Parmesan. I have already done a handstand in the new studio. Within the first 15 minutes. That looks really good with that white as well. Like that could either bleed into or not bleed into, but it works good if you have maybe a lot of content.
Absolutely. I think one thing about this guide that I really want to portray is just the clean lines, the freshness of Palm Springs, and because a lot of the images are a little bit more retro, because the architecture is more retro, I'd love to choose typography that would maybe be a little bit more classic and that will apply to the rest of the city books I'm planning to build out. So that's kind of things I'm thinking about as I'm starting to create.
Yeah, and you created that Pinterest board, and all of that's kind of like knocking around in your head right now.
Yep,
right?
Exactly. Now I'm trying to figure out how I can bring it to life with all these beautiful images.
Heidi Morrow's checking in. Yeah, check in, hang out. I'm with Kirsten Wolfert. She's from Pinterest. She's a designer. This week's all editorial design, making a fancy city guide around Palm Springs, again using InDesign.
Let's see what other images I have. One other thing I did too was I already started thinking about my color palettes just based on these images. This is where Illustrator is coming in.
Okay, I like it. I also noticed that you're just using your little touchpad on your Mac.
I know.
Do you usually, or do you?
I sometimes use a mouse, but sometimes when I'm using an iMac at work, I do like to use my mouse. But normally when I'm on my laptop, I just like to use my trackpad.
That's so fun. I'm like
exactly
the same way.
Oh, really?
I've had this here, and I don't think I've touched it yet.
Oh my gosh.
I've just been like working here because I can always rely on this.
Everyone always thinks I'm crazy because it's too small, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
My screen's small. I like to keep my working space contained, you know?
Okay.
Is anyone else like that on chat? Does anyone else use their trackpad?
Trackpad only.
Paul and I want to know.
I didn't bring it, but Apple sells a separate trackpad that
I've seen it.
You could just use your finger, and it's much more sensitive, so you could like draw lines on it. So it almost works as like a mini like Wacom, if you will.
Wow.
Right, so.
Do you use a Wacom tablet?
No, I don't. I think I have it all, but I always end up old school, exactly like you.
Me too.
Lauren uses the trackpad, sounds like. Jennifer's lucky enough to use a Wacom. Carrie uses the trackpad. Lots of, looks like we have a toss-up between the Wacom tablet and a trackpad. So, and yes, just so you know, thank you so much for mentioning that. We do have a chat and win. That's what this little timer is doing right down here. Chat and win. It's going to be happening in less than 11 minutes. And we just give away something for fun.
What's the prize today?
It's going to be a hardcover Moo notebook.
Ooh.
So, again, just a friendly, fun gift just for hanging out with us. So that's cool. Andrew in the house. Andrew, I need to answer a message he sent me. See what happens.
I'm happy to
see what happens when you don't respond to somebody. They're like, I'm hunting you down. I'll do it. I think I answered. I don't know if I did. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I will do it.
I'm happy to see all the trackpad users on chat.
Ooh, Alex. Alex is a mouse user. Ooh, Dana mentions it. Just got a Wacom, need to learn how to use it. Like, I think it takes like a couple weeks. It takes time to actually like just get used to it.
I have started to play with one, and I do feel like a fish out of water. I have to admit.
And the thing is like you're not, depending on what you're doing. If you're spending more time in Illustrator, like illustrating or Photoshop, then you can use a Wacom. But otherwise, this is easy enough.
Absolutely.
Like,
And like I said, when I'm on a small screen, I like to. The trackpad is perfect for me.
Yeah. Into it.
So I'm leaving my cover blank right now. I think I've decided I want my first spread.
Ooh.
I love this full bleed image of this Palm Springs pink door. I've been told that this is a famous door. And Palm Springs is all about the door tours, I keep hearing, in the front of people's houses.
Huh.
And then I have this amazing quote from Trina Turk that I would love to incorporate as an introduction. So I think I'm going to use this right now as just to start exploring some typefaces. Get an idea for what I want to use.
Oh, by the way, what you're doing right now is this is a brand new feature.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was new.
Yeah, it is the. Gosh, what do we call it? It's basically live preview of fonts.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because that's my text.
See how that's
In the
changed?
side.
It's funny you didn't even notice.
I'm so used to seeing that.
That's how intuitive it is.
Wow.
Because again, it's right in there, and basically you have it set to selected text. You can actually get a preview. What I like about it is it doesn't take your focus away from you selecting the actual font.
Oh, no, that's amazing.
And by the way, can I show you more things in there?
Yeah. Oh, I'll open it back up.
So there's filters there, just to kind of
I have used these.
mess around.
Incredible.
You have that. Don't forget to clear that, because sometimes you'll be looking for a font. It's because you have it set to, slab serif or something. But as soon as, it starts thinning out your list based on what you have selected. You have a lot of fonts, I can tell already. But this is, so that's what it is. Just clear that out afterward. Here's another thing. Can I show you something else? A couple more things. You can favorite fonts. So we understand we can filter them. We could favorite. We can look at the most previously used. Is right there,
Oh, amazing.
Previously added, which is nice. And then if you don't have, these are all your cloud-based fonts. If you don't have, if you can't find what you like, go to Find More up at the, right there. At
the top.
And turn off those other pressed icons. These are all the fonts out on Adobe Fonts. So typically you'll be in the Fonts tab, see what you have on your desktop. Can't find anything. You go to Find More, and then notice how they have a little cloud icon. You're previewing these fonts that aren't even on your desktop yet, which is cool.
This is amazing.
And then all you do is you just sync it and start using it. Because my big problem is, like, I'll go out and find a font. I'll pick the right font, but I could never remember the name of.
Oh, I have the hardest time remembering the names.
I'm like, what was the name? It sounded something wacky. That's like sad that that's one of the hardest parts of my job. The name
well,
of that
there's so
font?
many fonts with so many names. If anyone has any tricks for how to remember font names.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the nice thing is, I think Josh and Balthazar are onto something. It's just like favoriting fonts.
Oh, yeah.
Just go in there, and I just start favoriting. Like, I do that all the time, and then I end up with a nice list.
Love that.
Because let's face it, you have, 2,000 fonts on your machine? And
it's a lot.
And you use like 10.
Yep. It's so true. I pick a favorite, and then I like continue using it and continue using it.
But that just shows you're as a professional designer. That's kind of what you do, though. Like,
yeah, it's true.
You.
Oh, look, and I can change it to be.
Oh, yeah.
Or numbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's helpful.
That is helpful, too.
Love that. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
That's amazing. Okay, I am going to use this Plantain font. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. That's the other thing. Fonts are so hard to pronounce.
Plantain, probably?
Plantain.
Like plantains.
Like the bananas.
Concerning those font features, that's also in Illustrator. So Illustrator and InDesign, the only two apps that have it.
Look at Adobe helping our workflow.
I know. It is nice. Alex Jean is like papyrus for life. I hate to sound like a commercial, but I can't not talk about this. The fact that you could sync all the Adobe fonts. So Typekit is now Adobe fonts. You could sync, we used to have a limit of 100. You could sync 15,000 if you want to be that person. Which, like, whoa.
Would your computer crash?
No, it would just, if it's, I don't know. I don't know if it would take longer for your app to load, like Illustrator or Photoshop. Because typically on that splash screen, it would say like loading fonts. I think that would take longer.
Let's see. Looking for my paragraph tab, I'm gonna unhyphenate my text. Oh, that's a good question. When did Illustrator update to that?
Just in October.
Wow.
Yeah. in Adobe Max. So it's brand new.
Me too, Aaron. I didn't even notice it either, and I use it every day.
Yeah.
That, like what Paul said, that's how intuitive it is.
Yeah, and it really was, especially the sort of the find fonts. That's definitely the new part. Being able to preview those fonts that you don't even have is amazing. And the fact that you can actually access and download all of them. Yeah, Futura. Okay, this is good. I'm always interested in people's favorite fonts. Futura, Helvetica, Lato. That's good. That's a good little...
Do you have a favorite font, Paul?
Well, yeah. Mine's LustScript Pro. Because it's very curly and it has all these alternate glyphs that give you these flourishes. That's
and
why
lots of
I love
options
it.
to choose from.
Yeah, but typically it will be maybe a variable font. I'll use Helvetica New, a font with like lots of different options, so I can go from a very heavy to a hairline.
One of my favorite fonts right now is Quasimodo. I think that's how I say
Really?
it. I'm going to use it today, I think, actually, because I really want to pair a sans serif with this serif I've chosen.
And I think that's also worth talking about. Ooh, that's interesting. Is this right?
I think that's the wrong one.
Yeah, that looks. that
pull it
actually
up in a
didn't.
second. I'm
that
probably
didn't
saying
look
it
like
wrong.
your style. Is this it?
No, I'm probably saying it
that's
wrong.
pretty cool though.
Let me pull it up. Quasimodo. And I love it for the exact same reason you said it. Look at all these weights.
Oh wow. Oh, okay, it's an Adobe font.
Yeah.
You're on brand.
I'm gonna
About 2 minutes, we'll do our chat and win. I was gonna say random chat and win, but it's not so random seeing as we have a timer. And you start looking at these characters, some of the unique aspects of it too. You're like, oh, that's interesting.
I really want to choose 2 to 3 fonts that I think will apply to different cities and be able to spread across all the different books I'm going to design in the future. And I wanted them to be able to also match with all the photography I'm using. So just a classic sans serif, or a classic serif is what I chose. I'm using Plantain. I don't think it's Plantain because there's no A in there. But correct me if I'm wrong.
First of all, you have the same problem I have. Like, I have no idea what things are called. Like, I know what looks good and what doesn't.
I know.
I don't know the names of colors. Like, we can debate that all day long, but we'll agree on the color and the font.
Perfect.
Would you hate it if we turned off columns so we could see the font?
Absolutely. Oh, wait.
Sorry, I know you're in that dialog box.
There we go.
Oh, glorious.
Thanks for the reminder.
We got some cool... Oh, that's so funny. Jokes going on.
Ooh, I love
People
Gotham
like
too.
SF Pro. Yes, SF Pro, obviously good for mobile, iOS, Baskerville. Kaluna, Open Sans, Roboto. Cool.
All of those are good ones. I'd really love to place an image here to the left of the text to kind of counterbalance it. So I'm going to go back to my image folder and start doing some searching. Oh, this one's fun.
Ooh.
Back to my frame fitting, which I love to use.
I know, I would always right click and then read. And reading it was like, is that what I want? Fit frame, fill frame, full, like, I don't know, all these
This
words.
makes it go so much faster.
What are these words doing here? And we have fireworks behind us. What? Not really. It's actually a green screen, but it does mean it's time for Chat and Win. Welcome back, and this is the giveaway. So Chat and Win, all you need to do is say something in chat, whether it's pew pew, or your favorite font, or your hair looks amazing, and why you try and hide the cool logo.
Where is it? There we go.
Bam! Right? So just say something in chat, hopefully English words, so when we contact you, we know there's a human there that will respond to us, and you'll get this
Oh,
fantastic...
what a good color.
Right? Look at this.
That's beautiful.
Have it upside down. This will go inside, but this is a beautiful Moo notebook that has the answers to all life's questions, which is why I'm not going to open it. But it is lined, and think of how many ideas will just start coming to you. Again, just say something in chat. We'll have Adobe Live, our Adobe Live team, draw a name at random. Preferably, hopefully you're saying something we can read, which would be great. So thank you, Adobe Live team, so generous. And our winner is, as you can see here, Andrew Woodfield.
Woo!
Congratulations, Andrew. Andrew Woodfield is the proud owner of this brand new Moo notebook.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool, though?
You're going to love it, Andrew.
Feels great. Yes, fantastic. By the way, we do random giveaways. If you want 15% off, you can go to moo.com/Adobe Live, and you'll get 15% off. Perfect time for, of course, the holidays. So get on that. If not the holidays, there's always the new year, right? This looks really good.
Thanks.
Do you think as a professional designer, I'm always curious to, I just love everything you're doing here. I think there's a tendency as a novice designer to throw too much at something. And here it just looks really clean.
You know, I love white space. I'm probably err on the side of using too much sometimes, but I love clean, fresh design, and I always try to work that into whatever I'm doing. So
yeah, just
it's important.
I'm into it. I dig this. I dig this like kind of fat border around the photo, and I love this hidden line, how that melts into the. And we could always adjust that further if we cared to, but I love how that just kind of blends into the border almost.
Yeah, I may add a background color here. We'll see.
Okay.
But I love the thick borders because it kind of reminds me of Polaroid photos.
Okay.
And going back to that retro feel, Palm Springs.
And these are good things that you're doing. You might even be doing intuitively, but when you go into the meeting with the client, you need to be able to verbalize all this.
Absolutely.
Right. So, you know, you went to art school.
Yep.
Right. What did you graduate? Was it graphic design?
Yep.
or-
I graduated in graphic design from Brigham Young University.
Yeah. So I think you have a lot of obviously had a lot of raw talent, and then I think art school just gave you words to what you were doing and really helped you. But the whole idea you could explain what you're doing, that this looks kind of reminiscent of a Polaroid. You know, don't let the client think they're just picking colors and doing a border at random.
Yeah,
because you're
everything's
probably doing it
purposeful.
for a reason. And it's good to ask yourself, why does this work? Why does this not work?
And that's the other reason why I love doing mood boards, actually, because it helps me formulate those answers in my head before I'm going into design to help me make those decisions as I'm designing.
So you think it's pretty important to
I think
have
so.
good like speaking skills as a designer?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Verbalizing.
Yeah, as much, I always say never say no to an interview. Anytime you can get practice speaking about your design work, whether it's on Adobe Live or in an interview or to friends and family, I would definitely practice explaining your thought process.
Yeah. I used to not be that way though.
How did you get good at speaking?
I don't know, but
Did you take classes?
no,
Just
I
do it
didn't. I used to
often
teach.
enough?
Yeah, actually, somebody says Paul training. So I used to actually teach. I used to train on this and all that stuff. So I've taught a lot of the software back in the day. But
There you go. Practice makes perfect.
you know, and I used to work with this other designer, and she was just like so verbose and like. I think her design was like okay, but she was just. This is a long time ago. She did a good job of explaining her work. And I just thought that my work should speak for itself.
Oh.
So it's first of all, a bad design is going to be a bad design. You don't like it for a reason. An okay design, she could sell. I think that she had this speaking, selling ability that I just did not have at the time. Because I was like, oh, you don't need it. You're just making up excuses for okay work. That's me being a jerk, by the way. Such a jerk. I never said that. Anyway.
Being able to speak about your work is absolutely important.
Yeah. Verbalizing it, which you're not used to doing, because even you, it's your first time here, and you're like,
I know.
we want you to design and tell us what you're doing,
So
which is kind of not what you're used to.
I know. So
Can we try something and see if this
Yeah,
works? Select
absolutely.
that. There we go. Okay, so go to
Okay.
the properties panel.
Okay.
For fitting, okay, you did whatever. Go to the last one, and that's a new one. It's content. Boom.
centers it.
Yeah, so
Amazing.
there's some AI, some Adobe Sensei magic, analyzes the photo and will put the subject matter like into view basically. So that's why it moved it over. Whether you want to change it or not, it's totally up to you because this is
but
AI.
just having that option.
Yeah.
That's great.
Trust me. Yeah, that's magic. I think it's magic.
So because I'm working on a city guide, I already know I have my copy all here. And I already know in the table of contents I want to include where to stay, what to do, eat, and drink. And I'd love to include a notes section at the end where you can take this and actually write in it what you did, what you liked, what you didn't like, because whoever really remembers those types of things. And then recommendations you can make to friends. Or maybe for your next trip to Palm Springs. So I already know this is going to be in my what to do category, my what to eat.
Everything. What to eat? Everything. Even the plantains. Somebody was like, I don't like plantains. Awesome. Hey, Howard. Howard did kicked off the day with a design challenge, was just up before us. Did a fantastic job. It's day 2 of his daily challenges as well. We have actually a challenge going on. I think this will be a good time to talk about it as well. So again, if you're doing a lot of XD, we can talk about that as well. Right now, our challenge is right here in this challenge tab. So create and share a holiday card. Scrolling down, super easy. Basically, there's this Illustrator template that you can use if you want, but basically make a holiday card and then submit to this form. And you know what? We will go ahead and view those in about 22 minutes.
So excited.
Yeah, sorry for the late notice there, but that's what's happening. You have all day. You could, if you get it within the next 22 minutes, we'll review them, but we'll be reviewing them all day long today. That's today's challenge.
I think one thing you'll notice too in my workflow is that I kind of start a spread and then I move on to the next one. So I'm definitely not sticking to one spread, making it finished and beautiful.
Because do you just have a feeling that you're going to move things around anyway?
Just trying to get a feel for the design right now. Just the colors I'm going to be using, the images, the layout, how they're going to interact with color blocks, and what sort of colors I want to use. So right now, just trying to get that feel.
Love the color.
Before committing too
Here's another
much.
thing you do. You're not picking a color at random. You're picking it with a purpose. Based on a photo. Like I think the same thing goes for fonts as it does for color. Ask yourself why. Why did you pick that font? Why? Don't pick color just to decorate a page. It should be there for a reason, basically. Right?
And Palm Springs is so easy because it's such a colorful place. So I've got a lot of great colors to pick from.
Yeah, exactly.
So I already
great
know.
little
I know.
photos. I can see why you want to go there.
Has anyone been to Palm Springs and chat? We want to know.
Yeah, anybody been to Palm Springs? Because we want to get really jealous of you, right?
Is anyone there right now? That'd be crazy.
Is anyone there right now?
So this is a hotel in Palm Springs. So I think I'm gonna make
It's the Ace Hotel?
It's the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs.
The Ace Hotel is like the hipster hotel, if you ask me.
Is it?
Oh, it's so hipstery. Oh yeah. Trust
I've never
me.
been there, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've stayed at the one in like New York City, and they have the best coffee. They have Stumptown coffee in the lobby, which then they have a DJ in the lobby at night, and then your room it kind of feels like you live in a New York City apartment. Like you hang your clothes on these pipes, for instance.
Oh
It's
my
very
gosh.
it's like very industrial, a little too young for me and my creature comforts. It's like a little too cool for me.
So now that I've started to get a rough layout, a few colors, a few spreads in here, I definitely want to keep that strong wide border throughout the design. So that's why I've left these spaces.
Ooh, lucky Kerwin lives an hour from Palm Springs.
Wow.
Lucky you. Henry's been there.
I wonder what the weather's like this time of year. You'll have to let us know. Hi
Yeah.
from South Korea. Hello.
I think that's near Palm Springs. I mean, it is South Korea.
Southern California. I already know. Remember that beautiful palm shadow image that we saw at the beginning? Let me jog your memory. Let's see if I can find it again.
Oh.
This one. I think I already know I want this to be in my table of contents because it's so striking.
It's hilarious. Anna was hilarious.
What's Anna saying?
They're just saying how there's probably a fedora on the roof of the Ace Hotel that has PBR. So this is a nice escape for Wendy, yeah, I guess it's below 0 where she is, which scares us. But hopefully this is a nice little escape, you know, Palm Springs.
I know we wish we were there right now.
Stumptown actually is not from Seattle. Stumptown is actually from Portland, because that's the nickname of Portland. They cut down trees, and although it's funny, when you go to Seattle, the coffee they recommend is Stumptown, which is technically Portland.
Interesting.
Oregon. Too much detail, I'm really into coffee.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, Phil's.
Phil's.
I think everybody knows that. This segment brought to you by Phil's Coffee. Keeps your morning powered. You know, all morning long. Stay caffeinated.
I'm a water drinker. Tea, hint water.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I wish I was you, because I could probably use to calm down and just have some tea. But this, like, not only has, you know, obviously coffee, but they'll put mint in their coffee.
Oh.
So it's like you have coffee and a breath mint. Not really.
Perfect.
Brush your teeth, folks.
I love mint.
They put mint in their coffee. You know this, you live here.
I'm going to start exploring what the typography is going to look like on our table of contents page. I love these contrasting colors. It just feels deserty and moody, and
this kind of warms it up. It actually does give it some warmth. So it's not like a film noir thing. It's like yeah, it kind of warms it up into it.
Love that. And the contrasting the black and white to the burnt orange color.
But even the intensity of that color, if you picked a really bright orange, it's just be too bright.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, it's all these things that you hardly even think about.
And I want to make sure that the typography is legible too, because white typography on a color, you definitely want to check to make sure that you'll be able to read what I'm putting in this book, because that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
We want to give ideas.
And I feel like almost like, does this happen? It's like almost like a color scheme starts to emerge as you drop in photos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
that's such a good tip. Because you're working on the content, you're dealing with the photos, and then this palette kind of emerges.
Absolutely.
So it's
because then that way
it's very cohesive.
Yep. And at the end, you'll have a finished, cohesive piece of art.
Yeah. You're not like taking a color palette and trying to jam it into a project.
Nope.
Believe me, I love colors. You know.
Do you work with a lot of color?
Not as much as other people.
I know, me neither. Colors are sometimes hard for me to use.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm good with color. I understand intensity and value and all that stuff. But yeah, some people's work just screams color. You know, it's like, wow, yours has a definite look, but color isn't my signature. You know how color is some people's signatures, so.
I like to say I was first trained as an interior designer because my mom is an interior designer, so I grew up helping her pick color swatches and mix patterns, and so I definitely love color, but it is harder for me to use in my design.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk more about that. I mean, that's kind of fascinating because you're good with it, but yeah. Your mom's an interior designer?
She is, yep. I just love strong black and white too.
Yeah.
There's a good balance to everything. I'm loving how this serif is looking large.
Yeah.
like that.
So yeah, the properties panel does take some getting used to, but you'll realize, you know, a good 80% of the things are there. Now, people mention David Blattner, love David, InDesign Secrets, all that stuff. Him and Anne-Marie, right? But you know, again, it's not gonna have everything for the pros, but you can get to some of that stuff just by hitting that little, what are the little 3 dots called again?
Ellipses?
Ellipses, thank you. Dana Pride, turquoise, is that your favorite color? Because turquoise is the one color that I feel like the people that I know who like color, they like turquoise.
I agree with that.
Yeah?
Hopefully Andrew likes turquoise, or I guess that's more of his new book is more of a
Who's this?
blue. Andrew, who won the chat and win.
Oh.
The Moo Notebook.
Oh yeah, yeah, into it. And plus, this is a little more blue, but there's a reason, like blue is supposedly a good 40% of the population, blue is their favorite color.
I'm part of that 40%.
Me too. I'm into blue. Julie asks if you use the table of contents feature in InDesign.
I don't. I think today especially, I'm just trying to get a feel for what I want the typography layout to be. So right now I'm just really getting in there and trying to do it manually just to help me decide how the type will interact for the future layouts.
Yeah, I love watching you work. And I think that feature is really good if you're dealing with something like more sort of text content heavy.
Oh, right. Yep.
That's when and you're changing, like I've made guidebooks, like training books, then I'm definitely using table of contents.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Right now, I love the idea of making the city guide a more photographic book and then having the typography just be really clean and straight lines, and that's my vision for this book, at least right now.
And it's looking fantastic.
Thanks. One thing I would love to do is do an interesting contrast with numbers. So maybe I'm gonna experiment maybe doing the sans serif here, perhaps. Let's see.
Yeah, Gustav, it's always funny that like the color of the year, is it turquoise for 2019? Turquoise goes well with the coral color of the year. So coral's the color of the year of 2019?
How do you feel about coral?
I feel like color of the year. I think it reminds me a lot of the millennial pink.
Oh, yeah.
Off the bat. So I'm thinking it's, you know, the next iteration of that. Living coral.
Interesting.
Tiana, I think it's great. So she says her signature color is like this mustard yellow, and I just think that's so cool.
That is really cool.
Like people are gonna recognize your work, and I just love the thought of you having a personality, and just it getting infused into everything that you do. I love that. Just makes you such an individual. I think that's so cool.
Hopefully I would love one color that I was known for. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It is cool. But the thing is you have a certain style. You said you like a lot of like white space.
That is true.
And I just think it's
typography.
yeah, and that's just so cool. And it makes you a really strong designer. Like clients know what they're gonna get because they're gonna be drawn to your stuff. Maybe they can't figure out why, and you're like, great, I can just be myself, and they're gonna get what they like, you know, based on my work is the hope. So that looks really good. Actually, that's not a far cry from the color of the year.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty close.
Can't really.
Should I go back?
No. Can you just switch to my screen real fast? Anyway, so it's not that far off, but again, here's the color for 2019.
Do you know how Pantone picks these colors?
Just out of it, I think whatever they have in excess stock. Just kidding. Whatever they're trying to move. we gotta move this. We got a lot of living coral from 2018. Let's make a 2019 color. So, anyways, I don't know how they. I'm sure on this page, by the way, and you can Google it. It'll say why, by the way. So again, living coral. Warmth and nourishment to provide comfort and buoyancy in our continually shifting environment.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
So I'd love your help, Paul, or people in chat's help here. I'm trying to decide if I should mix the sans serif with the serif, or if I should just keep
out
the
of those
serif.
out of those two?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there one that
I
people
have an
are liking
opinion.
more?
So yeah, zoom in on that and top or bottom, everybody. Or
So this is my sans serif I'm
sans-
using above. And then this is the same serif, but just different sizes.
we'll give chat a second. There might be a little bit of a delay. I would
Top or bottom?
at that size. I want something that just kind of stands out a little bit more.
Yep.
So I'm kind of leaning toward the top one.
That's good reasoning.
Where I'm at. I think the 01 will. I don't know. I fear that it's going to break down a little bit. And again, this is table of contents here. Tim says the first one.
I'm going to try some other numbers too, just to see what they look like.
Okay. And plus, you have this. The serif has these interesting qualities that might get lost at a small size.
That's
I don't know.
a great point. Look how beautiful this K is.
I think the best
love
part.
that.
I love that K.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It's almost like they just chopped it off. That's fascinating.
unique.
My best part about this is where that 12 is at.
Yep.
Like that's what sells it to me. The fact that you did that little shift. I don't know why you did. It kind of annoys me that you're so good at just doing these little tweaks that make it awesome.
Oh, thanks, Paul.
And it's intuitive because you're like, hey, this is kind of I don't know, superscript. Right? But you could have made it baseline. That
Right.
seems to make sense. The fact that you made it small and did all this stuff, I don't know. At this size,
Makes it a
looks,
little bit more
At
interesting.
this size, it's interesting.
Give a few options.
I don't know. Yeah, and then do you start introducing opacity?
Yeah.
Like, is it the number 12 at 80% white and things like that?
That's another great way to show hierarchy.
Yeah.
I think on this page, I love the idea of doing small numbers because really where I want the reader to focus more on is the where to eat, what to do, eat and drink and notes rather than the numbers. Because I think this book will be pretty thin. It'll be easy to flip to.
Yeah, it's not, that's a
Yeah,
good,
it's
that's a
not-
good point. This is,
Huge, thick book.
yeah, good point.
So
Heidi
that's
Morrow
kind of where
says
I'm
top. Andrew Woodfield was I don't know if he was our winner, but says bottom. So we have top, bottom. Okay, cool. I think
Amazing.
they're leaning toward the top one.
Thanks, everyone. That was really helpful. It's like having friends to design with. I love this.
I'm not kidding. Like, Chad is fantastic. Like, everybody here, all these people that
This
join
is
us
amazing.
will just make you a better designer.
I want to hang out with you guys all the time.
Yeah, like, why can't you always be in my back pocket
I
and be
know.
like, hey, try this?
I love that.
Good point. Josh Whetstone just talks about, as you expand it out, how does this change? Is it still our favorite sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe we can revisit it on the second or the third day.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And the great thing is, this is why I love just being a designer. You have the right to change your mind at any time. And
It's true. You're
that's
the
what
captain.
happens. There are so many designs that end up on the cutting room floor, but that's okay. Like, you can get I spent literally the past couple days working on something,
You just scrapped it.
and it just kept on falling away and falling away. But I think what you arrive at is the best thing.
Absolutely.
You had to go through all of that to arrive here.
I think it's always important to trust your gut. And if it's not working, don't be afraid to just leave it behind and start over.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
yeah, leave it by all means. And ask other people. Kind of like we're getting chat's input. We have the challenge submission deadline coming up here within 5 minutes. It's our chance
Can't
to kind of
wait.
review something you've done. And again, we didn't have a lot of time, so we'll see where that's at. But that's why we do portfolio reviews. Get another set of eyes that are
so
that
excited.
don't have a horse in the game. They're just give it to you straight.
Outside observer.
Yes.
I think that's another thing that's helped me in my career is just getting as many people to look at my portfolio as possible, critique my work because it only makes you a stronger designer.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Claude, what's up, buddy? Yes, we are in the new studio. Claude works for Adobe. He's actually right over
Claude.
there. I think you're on floor 2, because that's where we are. You should come by and say hi. So Claude's a fantastic designer, by the way, and he approves of the square design as well.
Oh, good.
Good. That's how you have people you trust. Like, I trust you as a 100%.
I know I already
Claude
like
knows.
Claude. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who doesn't? Everybody likes Claude. Believe me, everybody likes him. Trust me, he has all the friends.
No, definitely an interesting layout. I think one of your first decisions as a designer when you're making a book or an editorial layout is what's the size going to be, because that's how people are going to interact with it. That's how it's going to be shown in your portfolio. So you definitely want to spend some time considering that.
Yeah, totally. And it's fun too, like when it comes to your portfolio. This is actually something I have to check on. Because you add projects to Behance. I kind of want to keep projects but set them to unpublished. Because I like seeing my old work to see how you've progressed, but I also want to curate my portfolio as well. But it's good you should look back into your stuff and say, hey,
Absolutely.
I've grown a lot. Like, the more you dislike old work, the more you've actually improved, kind of.
And you never know as a designer when maybe you'll be applying to a job that you need that old project and you can spruce it up again.
Yeah.
With the new skills you've learned.
Yeah.
Bring back my guides. I'm gonna explore what it looks like to overlay an image on this beautiful shadow texture background. Harkening back to my mood board, I loved the overlay of the typography and the images, and so I really want to incorporate that into this design. Maybe.
Claude's a fantastic designer. Rocky is also in chat. He's a really good photographer, photo editor, just like there's a lot of talented people here.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And hopefully people will be like they might even remind you of little tips in InDesign, by the way.
Absolutely.
So this is really good. He's got some strong. Tim's fantastic. Munir's good. Everybody. So, but yeah, this is all editorial design all this week. So 2 minutes to get your designs in, and we'll see how that goes. We might not actually. We'll see how many we have.
I hope so. I'm so excited to look at everyone's holiday cards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm loving this image.
Oh, Matt Grogan. That's an interesting thought. It's the coffee table book of your life.
Ooh.
Your portfolio, like appreciating all that old work on Behance. But that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yes.
The coffee table book of your life.
Sounds intimidating, to be totally honest.
I know, like, what is...
I think the hardest project I ever worked on was personal branding, because it just never feels done.
Personal branding. Yeah.
Has anyone else had that same experience?
Yeah, that's when your perfectionist kicks in.
It's so
and you
true.
never finish it.
Yep.
Or it's constantly evolving.
Because you're always evolving as a designer.
Yeah, that's kind of like the first place you start and the last place you finish.
Totally.
Like,
I swear
you're always working on your personal brand, and you never finish it.
Never.
Oh,
and as your design changes, your personal brand may change, your website might change. I'm always working on refining.
Yeah. So yes, Ryan, perfect. Submit that holiday card right now. Again, it's in the challenge tab. And just submit it through that WooBox link, and we'll review those in a bit.
I love that that's the challenge. It feels so festive.
Yeah, I'm into
for the time of year.
So, by the way, Rocky mentions he's horrible about getting his own work done, always for everyone else. I actually I don't judge people too harshly on an outdated portportfolio.
Oh, no.
Because typically these people are the people they're actively working. I want to see, last updated 2015. It means the past 3 years you've been working hard. Sorry for cussing. That's about as much as I cuss too.
So I'm gonna quickly just check in. So that's my cover. I'm gonna leave blank for now.
What shortcut key did you hit to get here?
I hit Command W. Oh, nope, not that.
Save.
What did I hit?
Save.
Shift W.
Shift W.
Shift W. It just feels like second nature now, hitting the short keys. I highly recommend getting the hang of short keys. It definitely helps my design, my process move faster. Okay, let's go back to Shift W. I'm loving this spread. I feel like this is a great introduction to the book, and this quote is amazing. Yeah, all these colors feel really great to me. And the balance of the pages and the pacing. I would love to add another image here overlaying, but I wasn't feeling it, so I think I'm gonna come back to that later.
Yeah, that's good.
I try not to get too stuck on one thing, and I keep trying to keep moving, keep designing, and then, like you said, just scrap them if it's not working and start over.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew really, he's probably like loves that image on the yellow background. So that next one, he's probably like, don't change that one. You could change some of the others, but please, not that one.
I'm gonna start maybe introducing my typography style on my spreads.
By the way, can people find you on social media at all?
Yeah, they can.
What do you like on? What do you use? Twitter?
I use Instagram.
Okay.
And then I also use Pinterest, obviously, and sometimes I use Twitter, but not as often as Instagram.
Okay, gotcha. Well, fantastic. That clock does say 000. I get it. We're still reviewing your design. We'll get take a look at those.
Gonna introduce this serif font again.
So Brian, the holiday card, that is, again, part of the challenge today. And I don't know if that's actually, you'll have to give us a second on that.
One thing that I'm noticing is I am really liking how the all caps sans serif is looking with my all lowercase serif. I feel like it's a good mix of friendly but legible, and it feels perfect for the clean lines of Palm Springs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to incorporate that other places.
I agree. I think that's a good call. The all caps sans serif on that small text just makes it a nice, and it's not that important, really. Like, you could look at this page, you already know it's the table of contents.
Yep,
so it's small at the
absolutely.
top, oh, by the way, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm gonna incorporate that into my where to stay page. Bring my guides back on.
looks like we have our challenges in.
Awesome. Perfect. Is now a good time to pause?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's dive into
Can't
this.
wait.
Just so you know what we're doing. Right in here, challenge tab. We'll be reviewing these all day long, creating a holiday card. You can use InDesign, you can use Illustrator. We actually give you a template. Here's a tutorial, and then you submit through this form. And that's what we're doing right now. In fact, if you click on that form, we'll kind of review these together. Right up here at the top, View Gallery is what we're doing. So right in here, we can kind of dive in. Even
we
with
had a lot of submissions.
Yeah, and
That's
actually, let me
exciting.
just download. Let me just show you this template, just so you,
Oh, perfect.
just so we get an idea of like what they started with.
What the brief was.
Yeah, exactly. There. So here's the template. It's an Illustrator template, and yeah. So
Fun
that's kind of where they
illustrations.
started. All right, let's dive right into this.
Can't wait to see.
First one up is Jesse Ebelhar.
Ooh, Jesse. Is this
That's-
hand lettering? Or just maybe a font that's made to look like hand lettering?
I bet you again, I have the, this is,
Maybe it's the font in all lowercase.
yeah, exactly.
I love that border.
By the way, you license and save this. You can either download it or save it to a CC library. And what happens as you jump into, say, Illustrator, this is how this works. Just so you know, really fast. It's templates, by the way. This is where you can find a lot of templates. I'm just gonna, start with some standard letter and go from there. So that's how you get those. It'll pop up in libraries. We can move on from there. It might take a second for it to come in. It will appear right there. All right. Oh, actually, no, it won't appear right there. It actually will appear under templates is where it goes. So it might be at the bottom. So this is what's happening. And since we can sync like all the fonts, Balloon and Indie Flower, so let's activate those. And that's where they've essentially started. So they've taken some of these elements, which are great, right?
And made a border.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And I like the idea of like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So Jesse did a great job. The coloring of these, how this all works, works great.
It's very festive. I also love the circle shape.
Yeah, the circle shape is good. Breaking this border, that's interesting too. That's kind of fun.
I know,
It makes it more interesting. I even like this gap right here.
I was just going to say, it breaks a little bit right there. It's a little unexpected.
Yeah, and it kind of helps balance it out without being too symmetrical.
Great job, Jesse. That looks amazing.
Henry's. Let's dive into this one. This one may or may not have been done today. It's hard to tell. Oh, December 2018. Maybe it has been. Happy holidays, my friends.
No, champions of the world. I love the center image.
That is fun.
That is really fun. And then it looks like that you added a snowflake around the edge. Maybe a border and a vignette. And again, my style is super simple, so maybe consider simplifying the image or simplifying some of the flourishes on the text just because the image is so busy.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great start.
Yeah, my first thought was like, does it need that shadow?
Yeah.
I like the idea of it because actually it needs that to kind of set the snowflakes off, so I guess it kind of works.
Does it need the snowflakes too? Because there's so many flourishes. Yeah.
That's true. I think this is super tight right here.
Yeah.
This totally works. This whole these flourishes here.
Love it. Yep.
It fits together as a strong design.
Oh, and I love how you're repeating the flourishes on this inside page.
Yeah.
That looks great. And then the little gnome that you've carried over from the front cover.
Yes.
I really like that little touch. Those little design elements make such a difference.
And I would even say for something like this, I'd flip the gnomes so they're looking at the text.
Oh,
Just be mindful of the direction of whatever it is their eye, and that'll help out your designs. Good job.
tidbit.
Complete design. Fantastic. Luna approved. This stuff's always adorable.
Cute.
Yeah, a
little signature.
We have the best jobs in the world, so
I love that
have
personal
some fun
touch.
with it.
Yeah.
Lauren. Oh, I love we've gone a totally different direction.
I know. I love the strong colors in this one and the color blocking.
Yeah. So this is really interesting. We could look at this and talk about it from a designs. I feel like design rules were broken here.
I agree.
In a good way.
Yep. This is when you know the rules and then you break them in a really smart way.
Exactly, because the colors might not be the same intensity. You have, you're not using the rule of thirds or doing a golden mean or.
There's huge leading between the words, but I love it. It's really working.
And if you look at this compared to all of them, this one really stands out.
It really
This one's pretty strong too, but this one's definitely stands out. I love it. Okay, Thomas Betcher. Merry Christmas and a successful 2019. I'd say you're already starting it off with a bang.
Ending 2018 strong, that's for sure. The Christmas tree that you made is really interesting, and I like that it's really textural with those triangular shapes in there.
And thank you for, you're not introducing any shadows or gradients or anything.
It's a flat illustration.
So these you could screw up. These are your spots where you'd screw up, and there's no screwing up. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This is where the person would mess up, and they didn't.
No, this is great.
I'm glad.
And I love that the snowflakes fade as they get closer to the bottom too.
Yes.
Or the snow.
Oh, that's
a good touch.
That's so good.
Good job,
Very
Thomas.
Sharp. Thomas, you are the man. Next up, Corey Benson.
Oh, this is interesting. An image. Merry Christmas from our home to yours.
Very nostalgic.
Yes, I like this. It feels like old Christmas. I love that. Interesting use of the image. This is, I think, the first image we've seen. All the other ones have been vectors. or illustrations.
I like it. And I like how he's an approved and licensed Santa. Santa number.
I
didn't know Santas had license plates.
I really love the split up Mary with the dots in between each letter. I think that's a really nice touch.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point.
And then the script for Christmas and how the Christmas breaks the edge of the border. I really love that.
I think what you would do, and again, this is like so good. Like, I love this. I want to steal this idea. I don't, like, there is some spacing issues there if we wanted to be really critical, but talk about a strong design using that background color and everything.
And the hierarchy on this one's really nice too.
Hierarchy, yeah. So just work on some of that spacing, but super strong.
Oh, another image. Oh, look
Into
at the
it.
reflection.
I love how different all of these are.
I know, me too. This is great.
You know what I almost want to see? Just a person in there.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I'm
In the
looking for. I know
reflection.
anytime there's like a photo like, is there a person like being reflected back in this bulb? I love it.
No, I do too. The two fonts are really interesting.
Good,
I like
pretty
that.
good lockup.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like that the ornament is breaking the border that you've added.
Ooh, some in and out action.
I know.
Ah, into that in and out.
It's a nice layering effect.
Great job. Super strong, by the way. I didn't say this
And there's the
person
border.
names.
I love that.
This is Juanita Krugers.
Good job, Juanita.
I don't know if you're with us, but you are really good. Love the colors. It feels warm.
Super warm.
Feels like this is the holiday that I want to have.
It feels like they captured the magical lights of Christmas.
Yeah, so
Love
good.
that.
Great job.
I need some time.
This is how we finish. I need some
Love
time
that.
off.
I
Don't we
second
all?
that.
Massimiliano,
I agree with that.
Bonavia. I need some time off.
Well, I love the message you're saying here. I think it's funny and something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'd maybe consider image choice. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and like, what does that have to do with time off?
Yeah, yeah.
And even if you're saying peaceful or stop the noise, like
Yep.
try to explain that image to us,
Yep,
and then we're on board.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, into
yeah.
it.
Great start.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
That
going to
is
send on my
funny.
Christmas cards.
I need some time off.
So good.
Good. These are all fantastic entries. We are doing this every segment. We have about 20 more minutes,
Awesome.
15 more minutes,
Thanks for participating, everyone. That was really cool to see everyone's holiday cards.
maybe like 10 more minutes. Yeah, exactly. And keep them coming, by the way. So just so you know where we got those, that's in the challenge tab. Submit those, and we'll review those in the next segment as well.
Perfect. Okay.
That was a fun little
That was.
like detour.
I know. Now back to Palm
now,
Springs.
now we're back in the warmth of Palm Springs.
I know. Under the palm trees, on a lounge chair.
We could dream, can't we? You know. But we do have a fun day. By the way, we say we're only going to be here for another 10, 15 minutes. Well, it's a full day of editorial design. I want to click through the schedule real fast. All this week, Tuesday to Thursday. Xavier's coming up. Korea. Xavier will be fantastic to have. Yeah, he just walked in. Xavier, how you doing? No? Oh, no. And we have Julia and Masalka, and then Ashton Dewey. So basically a full day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Challenges the first 2 days. Portfolio reviews. Random giveaways just because we can. So that's what's happening.
It's a packed day.
It's a packed day. It is. So thank you so much for joining us, Josh and Simone and Andrew. Into it.
All right, so right before we went to the holiday cards, I was talking about how I love the idea of my all caps sans serif mixed with my lowercase serif. So I want to incorporate that into now my list that I'm going to be starting to build that will show you some of the places you should stay at when you're in Palm Springs. So I'm going to open up my Word doc, see how this looks as a paragraph. I'm going to make my font a little smaller.
And I think Andrew said earlier, you better really like that color. So he's
yeah.
like, you better not touch that color. I could imagine it might be thinking that. So
This layout's for you, Andrew.
this is for you.
Yellow, I'm just feeling yellow right now. Maybe because it's just, I don't know, it's just so bright and happy.
Yeah. This could almost work as like a fun like Palm Springs Christmas.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Of course, we have the yellow. We have this red. We have a little bit of green. So very
you're right.
cool.
This image, very festive.
Oh yeah, we can do puns and stuff if you want to. Kerwin wants to know if this will fit in the palm of your hand.
Good
You're
pun.
fired. No, just joking. You're hired, I mean, because we appreciate any and all comments. And any thoughts on InDesign, you know? I'm curious as to how many InDesign pros there are out there. Just watching you work, I'm definitely like learning.
Oh, wow.
And I love
I'm
just...
learning from you too.
Yeah, no, I'm just making, it's because I have Google right here. I just like, and then I just repeat what Google says. But you using the new properties panel, to see like a professional adapt that so well, and I know I've been using it just because I can see all those icons visually. That's probably my favorite part.
Well, I'm a visual learner, so it definitely helps
Yeah,
me.
I
think we all are.
I think we all are, yeah.
That sounds about right. So one thing I would love to consider too is that I have these images that I'm going to be pairing next to text. And so I love to consider, and maybe this is something I can get into more tomorrow, but some sort of icon or something to note that this hotel that I'm saying on the left corresponds to my image on the right, because I want people to know, you know, obviously maybe more obvious for this Ace Hotel, but you know, people may not know where this garden is. So that's something I want to start considering just immediately. I'll make a mental note of that. But so far, I think this is looking really great.
You're like, yeah, I'm awesome.
No. I'm just,
Check this out, everybody.
It feels
I'm awesome.
friendly. It feels functional, which I think is the most important thing for a travel guide. You know, I want it to be legible. And another reason why I chose the 8x8 size is that I want this to fit in a purse or a bag, so you can bring it with you on the go and reference it.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that is good. I think Simone brings up a good point about, you know, saying that he's scared of InDesign, hides behind Illustrator. I must say that I get more questions on when to use, when I show InDesign, I get more questions on when to use InDesign, when to use Illustrator, maybe when to use Photoshop. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a great question. I know InDesign can kind of be intimidating, but as soon as you get into it, I promise you will feel more familiar than you expect.
Yeah.
I always use InDesign when I'm building out a spread or something that's more than one page. I think that's my go-to.
Okay.
Or if it has a lot of text on it, I'll always go to InDesign. You know, Illustrator I often use for icons or logos. And oftentimes they're all working in tandem together. That's my workflow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
What
at
do
the
you
end of the day, I agree with you. I think it is going to depend on like what you use.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just like, you might be, in some cases, like it's a toss-up. It could be InDesign, it could be Illustrator, and it comes down to what you're most comfortable in.
Absolutely.
I think technically if you know everything, there might be it's still a toss-up sometimes. Because even for these holiday cards, you know, the one that had the 3 panels, I would probably use InDesign for that one with the 3 panels.
Yeah.
But it could go either way. I could also just do that in Illustrator.
Right.
So.
No, I would agree with that. I can extend this a little bit more so you can read my text.
Okay. Aaron. You're Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Xavier and Aaron is here as well. So we have a fun day. We got some, this is fun. This is like
great.
all new. This is all fresh. Brand new guest.
Thanks for welcoming
You know,
everyone in the new studio.
In the new
too.
studio
Yeah.
with a beautiful view, and everything's brand new. New host, Aaron, and Xavier will be up as well. So this is going to be really fun. I'm into it. Oh, at 10:20. Is that right?
Yeah, so now.
Yeah, we're going to.
Transition in, but I was going to talk about the residency.
Oh, the residency. Now it's all coming together. I'm sorry I messed that up. But, Aaron, do you mind? As a creative resident, we have a special guest this morning. Aaron, what's your last name? Bernstein. I knew that. You're a photographer for the creative residency, which they just opened up applications for. I'm going to shut up. He's going to come over here and take my seat and tell you more about what he has going on. What's up, buddy? Come on in. Get comfortable. Good to
Welcome,
see you.
Aaron.
Give me a hug. Right on. Have a seat.
How's it
There you
going?
go, my friend.
Hi. I'm
Amazing.
Kirsten.
Aaron.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. It's the Ace Hotel.
Yeah, it's
In
Ace
Palm
Hotel.
Springs,
I'm
right?
designing a city travel guide for Palm Springs. Have you ever been?
I have.
Oh.
I've stayed there.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Is it great?
It is.
I've never been. A
You
few
should
people
go. You
on
should
chat
use
have
your
never been.
guide and go.
That's exactly my plan. That's why I'm doing it. So I know exactly where I'm going to be heading.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, good.
Their bathrobes are amazing.
Okay.
I highly recommend
Well, it
it.
just jumped to the top of my list now.
Yeah. So do you know anything about the Adobe Creative Residency?
No, I don't, but I'm really excited to learn
All
more.
right, yeah, I'm here to tell all of you really quickly just about it a little bit. So the Adobe Creative Residency is a program that empowers creatives to accelerate and focus their career through the lens of a personal project through Adobe. They support you in every way that you can imagine. So salary, health benefits, and mentors in business, technical training, and creatively.
Sounds amazing.
It's like having a dream job for an entire year and a year to challenge and push yourself as far and quickly as you want. And it's been crazy. We're about 7 months in this year. I'm a current resident, and applications are opening in early January for the next year. If you guys are interested, I believe the website is adobe.com/creative residency. You can sign up to get information for when the application is open, but all the information is there right now of how you can apply so that you can start thinking about what you want to do for that year and what you want to pitch to Adobe. So I highly recommend it. It's an amazing program, and I just wanted to come on here to tell everyone about that.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great opportunity.
It really is. And then you get to come out here to San Francisco. I just got off a plane
Oh,
from New
wow.
York.
Are you
And
a
here we
resident
are.
in New York?
I am.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
so I'm based in New York City,
Got it.
and I do photography. So.
Great. Are you allowed to talk about the project that you worked
Yeah,
on
yeah,
a little bit?
yeah. So
I'd love to hear more about it.
yeah, so I'm a photographer, like I said, based in New York. I was in fashion before this as a content creator, and I realized what I was doing I could do for myself instead of for a company. And I also really, really like food.
Yeah.
I love food.
Who doesn't love food?
I know, especially New York. New York
Yeah.
is like a culinary capital, and it's been a really fun way to sort of get acclimated to the city and to learn how to love the city. And so I kind of wanted to start incorporating food into my work, and so I'm really using this year to transition into the food world, which is something I didn't know how to do before.
Sounds really exciting.
Or how I could realistically do it in the way that I wanted. So this year is really just all about being able to do that.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
advice for anyone who might apply?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about it for hours, but I won't bore everyone today with that. I just think as long as you're really passionate about what you're doing, then I think that you have a great shot at the program. You have to really want this, and you have to really know sort of what you want or where you want to go. And I think in knowing how to create and why you want to create, that will really get you as far as you want to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Well,
Thanks
Tuesday
for telling us
morning
about it.
affirmation.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
Just wanted to stop by.
Thanks for flying all the way from New York.
Yeah, just for this, just for these few minutes.
I know. It was worth it.
Awesome. Well, good luck with the rest of your
Thank you so
editorial
much.
spread. I can't wait to see it.
Day 1 of 3.
And then you'll have to let me know when you go.
I definitely
Yeah,
will. If you have any recommendations, you'll have to let everyone on chat know.
For sure. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. That's all I got.
That works.